And we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is a pretty big webcast for me. The streaming of video live has been a massive passion of mine, and we'll get rid of this big, gigantic head here. And I need to explore it, to figure it out, to build the training and whatnot that this industry needs. And so, what we have here today is we have some pretty exciting things going on. One of which is, we're broadcasting live here on Facebook. I'm going to hit a refresh, and you can see the page going on. We'll get rid of my face here. And you can see here, right here on Facebook, we're streaming live. And I can wave to myself here, and we'll see it, show up in a second. Because we're streaming live, because we are now on the internet, what's really exciting is we can do and reach an audience in ways that we've never done this before. And I couldn't be more thrilled to share this with you. So what we have today is a number of things, large of which we're going to be sharing from a spreadsheet. From a mind map. And from this mind map, I got a lot of stuff to cover, as you can see here. I'll take questions on occasion, and we'll do different things, but we're going to cover most everything from this mind map, and we're going to go over the things I feel to be important about this industry. And we've got some important places to go. The excitement over live video, I think, has many times gotten in the way of what people are doing. The idea that I can grab my phone and go all shaky and suddenly it's a professional situation just isn't there. We can do more. The software that makes all this possible is there, and I want to tell you about it. Now, I am producing a book called How to Stream Video live, and you can find more about the book at howtostreamvideo.live. Book isn't out yet. It is pre-order. You can pick it up at Amazon, but this is going to be the focus for what I'm doing over the next couple of months and the training that I want to take everybody through. So if you have not signed up yet at howtostreamvideo.live, and yes, we'll be chatting about the .live domain name and what that means and how we can leverage that, please go ahead and do that. Now, I just realized here that the one thing I haven't done is validated audio. So you always get nervous when you go live. Whenever you go live, it's always painstaking. Can they hear you? Are they saying something? So one of the things I quickly want to do here is go over to Facebook and make sure that they can hear us. Yep, they can hear us. So that's very, very, very cool. And but here's the secret. Here's the thing I haven't shared yet, or not really the secret. This is one of the benefits of what we're doing. Not only am I live here on Facebook, and that's always fun, but you'll see here, I'm also live over at YouTube. And this simulcast of YouTube and Facebook is part of what the opportunity is, part of what we could do out there. So I'm going to click play here, and you can see me there. This idea that where some people and some organizations are trapped inside of a single platform, a single network, is terrifying when we here as the broadcasters can be wherever it is that we want to be. So that's extremely exciting to me. So let's start up at the top, all right? The realities of a live presentation are plentiful. First of all, this could go bad. Whenever you do live stuff on the internet, there are options for it to go bad. And I want to be really clear there that that could happen. If you head over to howtostreamvideo.live and sign up, if this does go bad, I will make sure to get you the updated stream of what goes on from there. But that's sort of the whole nature of the beast, is that this can go bad. If you go over to howtostreamvideo.live, right now it says, as you can see here, just give me the ticket. Obviously, the ticket to the event is happening, and so what you can do now is just simply fill that out, and I'll get you on the mailing list, and we'll go from there to make that easy for you. But if it goes live, it's kind of crazy. Or if it goes bad while we go live, it is kind of crazy. Now, I'm connecting not just at Facebook proper here, but one of the things that's interesting is not only we're at Paul Colligan Fan, but I've got a page called How to Podcast. And what I did through the power of Facebook is, I shared that one. So that is live as well. And it's also on my Facebook page of the podcast report. So this idea that we can stream to multiple places at the same time is really, really exciting to me, and is really a large part, again, of the opportunity of streaming live video. And so with that said and done, let's go back to Paul Colligan Fan, because I'm going to be showing you some stats and some information from there. So I'm attempting a YouTube simulcast. I'm attempting 3 different pages. I'm attempting another surprising thing that I am not sharing with you yet, because it's a big test that we want to do, but this idea of broadcasting the world is really, really interesting. I'm using just a home internet connection. I'm using a Mac Pro, so that's a little bit high expensive wise, but you could actually probably do it on the new iMacs. And I'm using software that we'll be chatting about a little bit later. But this is what we're doing. So the excitement about live and my hesitation. I'm an internet marketer. Many of you are. We live in a world where the latest, shiniest, newest, most exciting thing gets our attention because it's the latest, shiniest, new, most exciting thing. And that's all fine and dandy, but what happens is the latest, new, shiniest, most exciting thing gets in the way of us doing our job. Now, almost 10 years ago, I suggested the concept of the new media content creation model. And the new media content creation model is simply that you have to record your content at some point. That's just the space-time continuum. I'm wearing a Doctor Who shirt to honor the space-time continuum, if you will. I suggested 10 years ago that you might want to consider live in front of a teleseminar audience, because at that time, the best way to transport audio was via a teleseminar, maybe live streaming audio. And what's interesting is now we have live video. So I've been dabbling in this. Maybe we do our training live. Maybe we record our training live, because there are some people who love it live. Now, we're going to chat about the supposedly hordes of people that you get when you do Facebook. But some of you are watching this live. Some of you are enjoying this live. And thank you. I appreciate that. And some of you are live on Facebook. Some of you are live inside of YouTube. We're having all sorts of stuff. Right now, I can see Elizabeth Harrington is in here live. Always excited to be watching live. Okay, where are we set with the live streaming data, et cetera, et cetera. And she wants to know where these things are going to fall off. But Elizabeth is the type, and hey, Elizabeth is the type who wants to watch live. So you got to record at some point. You might as well record live, because there are some people who will attend live. And then the second idea was then take that live recording and benefit out to the world. So I have been a proponent of live for 10 years, but I have not been a proponent in the oh shiny, and I've not been a proponent in the silly numbers that people get excited about. I have seen people, well, let's jump ahead here. I think this might be kind of interesting and telling. Blab is one of the networks that people get really, really excited about. And, let's take a look at Michael Hyatt here. Michael Hyatt here is a huge name in the industry. And Mike Hyatt's doing a blab, and good for Mike, great for Mike. But what you see here is we've got 28 people watching. We've got 28 people watching. And the thing is, 28 people watching Mike Hyatt is not that exciting at all. Mike Hyatt is a huge name in the industry. And what happens is we get this idea that, 28 here is exciting, or, 10 here is exciting. The fact of the matter is Mike can do a podcast and can get, just based on this, I have no privy to Mike's download numbers, but just based on his positioning inside of iTunes, we're talking about tens of thousands of downloads. So why would someone be excited about 28 live versus tens of thousands of downloads? I've always been curious about that. I would not do this live if it was only live. One of the things that's really interesting, Periscope, one of the players here, and we'll chat about Periscope. Periscope's whole thing until just recently was, they will archive your video, but they'll do it only for 24 hours, which is ridiculous. Part of the power of new media and part of the power of the internet here is that we can let our audience come to us when and where they want to and how the device they want to. So this live thing, to me, it doesn't get the amount of people that they think it's going to get. We can reach other people other ways. It didn't excite me that much. But then, obviously, I've changed my mind. So why am I doing this? This webinar is the first of a series of webinars I'm going to be doing. It is March 19th, 2016. I'm going to be doing a series of these between now and the release of the book. If you would like to be invited, make sure you know when these happen. You can head over to howtostreamvideo.live. And then, of course, once the book is released, we'll take howtostreamvideo.live, and I'll make sure that you have access to all of these webinars. And this is the first of many. Basically, I'm going through everything I know about the space right now, sharing it with you. I would love responses. If you're watching this on YouTube, please respond. If you're watching this on Facebook, please respond. If you're watching this somewhere else, that secret location, please respond. I'd like to know what you've learned from this, what you think about it, where we can go from this, and we'll go from there. So this is the first one. Please sign up for the series. The book, you can pre-order the book right now. It is available for pre-order at Amazon. Go ahead and pre-order that. A number of you have, if you would like. When you sign up, we are at the time of the recording a couple of days away from giving you the first couple of chapters of the book, and many of you who are watching this, who will watch this, in the future, you can get the first couple of chapters of the book as well. I'm also doing a number of other things. We'll be doing some training, we'll be doing some masterminding, there'll be some other options in the live video space, and you will get invitations to those as well. But one of the things that's really interesting is in this space, if you want to learn and really understand, the good way is to teach this. I love people who teach live internet marketing, with a shaky phone to two people. We can do better. We can do a better studio. We can do a better setup. We can do better things if we would like. So that's what I'm doing. So my moniker, my big thing for these last couple of years has been, I help people reach more by leveraging tech. That's always been what I've been about. I've realized that's been me for the last 16 years on the internet. But the fact of the matter is I want people to reach more by leveraging tech. So for some, reaching more, they've been reaching 2 and they're reaching 5. But I've got other clients who have tens of thousands of customers who want to reach tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of other customers. And reaching more by leveraging tech has always been my thing. And if we look at live video through that lens of reaching more by leveraging tech, things then really begin to get interesting. Podcasting has a discovery problem. It really does. People don't discover podcasts. They hear about podcasts. They'll get an email about podcasts. They'll listen to a podcast, learn about another podcast. But discovering podcast is hard to do. A book, we can go to the bookstore. We can flip around. Yes, bookstores are going away, and more times we're going to Amazon. But podcasting has a discovery problem that we need to chat about. Apple hasn't made it better. Apple is not doing, I don't even want to say their job, because it's not their job, but their concern is not discovery of podcasts. Their concern is in the discovery of television shows that make them money, or apps that make them money, or movies that make them money. So podcasting has this discovery issue, and it's an issue that's been around for a while. And as a podcaster, that's something you want to think about. So, is YouTube losing her shine? Now, I've been doing a lot of work on YouTube. My 2 books right now are How to Podcast 2016 and YouTube Strategies 2016. And of course, the coming How to Stream Video.live. And YouTube has been a place to go. More people know about it. The fact of the matter is my mom knows about YouTube. Anybody on my street that I live on knows about YouTube, but they don't necessarily know about podcasting. So many of us have looked to YouTube as the place to be discovered, be found. Many people use YouTube to bring people into their podcast, bring people into their blog. But here's the thing about YouTube, and this is a stat that should concern you. All right, this stat came up recently, and basically here's the deal. The top 1% of all YouTube videos account for 93% of the platform's 93 trillion views. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not in the top 1% of YouTube's videos. And you are not either. And that's okay. You are a good person. Elizabeth, welcome to that. It's okay that you're not part of that world, but the majority of discovery, the billions of people, all the things we hear about, for people finding us, at YouTube, it's a lion's share kind of thing. The people who have the biggest impact, the Size of the world, the Tyler Oakleys of the world, the Fine Brothers of the world, all these guys, the PewDiePies of the world, they're doing a great job of getting our attention. But the fact of the matter is, the amount of people I'm going to find live is not that much. Now, I'll be honest with you. I did a test. I took a video series, a 21-piece video series. I put that video series on YouTube, and I put that video series as an iTunes podcast with the exact same titles, exact same descriptions, no different, no testing there. The only thing was YouTube versus iTunes. Now, YouTube, all these billions of people, all these billions of users, versus iTunes podcast, which is much, much smaller. What do you think wins? iTunes podcast did better for me. Why did iTunes podcast do better for me? It did better for me because the pool of the iTunes podcast, the video podcast, is much, much, much smaller. Okay, so YouTube is interesting. It's definitely a player. Oh, let's get rid of that overlay. Good job, Tube Filter guys. By the way, the Tube Filter guys are great. If you ever get a chance to read their stuff, definitely do that. So here's some interesting stuff. F8, the big YouTube conference. Okay, video on YouTube. Video on Facebook. 10 times the impact of anything else. I'll say that again. Facebook video, 10 times the impact of anything else. 5-6 years ago, when the whole message was pictures have 10 times the impact, that's great. It would make sense that video has 10 times the impact. If you want to have impact on Facebook, one of the things you want to do is you want to have video. Okay? The other thing that's interesting about Facebook video is that people are poking in multiple times a day. And this is really, really, really key. I do this. People poke into Facebook 3, 4, 5 times a day, and they get their social stream, and what happens with the social stream is whatever's new to them pops up. And there's been this promise, there's been this idea that, if you do your Facebook Live video, your Facebook Live will pop up in the stream. And some of you watching this right now on Facebook Live have most certainly caught this because it popped up in the stream. That definitely happens. And that's part of that discovery issue that we're chatting about. But let's be brutally, brutally honest. And of course, well, actually, let me do one more thing here on the mind map. 8 billion Facebook views a day versus 5 billion YouTube views a day. So already Facebook's getting more video. And if somebody likes you, you've got a chance of it showing up in the stream that they check multiple times a day. So from a numbers standpoint, Facebook begins to make a lot of sense. And then there's this big promise that if you go live on Facebook, the whole world's going to come knocking at your door. And we'll chat about this in a second. But what I want to do here is let's go to this. Now, earlier today, I went live to Facebook to, basically show off what I'm doing here and test the video camera and make sure all this stuff works. And so this is the video that I did. And now you can see here, I've got a decent amount of Facebook followers. So I've got 4,425 Facebook followers, okay? And this is a pro page. This is not the profile thing that a lot of people do. This is not my personal profile. This is my business page. So that is 4,000 people, not friends and relatives and that kind of stuff, but 4,000 people interested in me and what it is that I have to say and sell and that kind of stuff. So I did this earlier today. You can see here about 2 hours ago. And if we click on the stats here, we'll see some really, really interesting things. And I'm very, very willing to share this with you, okay? When I went live, and I only went live for a few minutes, okay? But this is key. When I went live for a few minutes, I only had at the peak 4 live viewers, okay? And you can see over the course of this time, over this 2 minutes, it only passed that right towards the end. The idea that the world was going to be flocking to me because I'm live is just not necessarily the case. And you can see unique viewers. I had 25 unique viewers. So 25 unique viewers out of 4,425. Let's take a look here. Okay. That is 0.56%. So 0.6%. This is key. 0.6% of my audience caught this in the last couple of hours. So this is not the panacea. This is not the one size fits all. This is not the wonder that's going to change everything. But there is some discovery. So the fact of the matter is Facebook doesn't solve everything, but Facebook will find some discovery. And but you got to do more. Hope this is making sense. What I'm going to do here is I know a number of you are watching. I can see here that Elizabeth had a question over at Facebook. She's having a bunch of time. So Elizabeth asks, okay, so Paul, Facebook video or Facebook Live video? I've got an answer for you. I'll show you that. She says, makes sense that we're back and connected. Elizabeth, have we ever been disconnected? I sure hope not. If we head over to Facebook here, I'm going to log into my screen. I got a different screen running. Multiple screens here. Let's see if there are any comments on what's going on here. Looks like no comments yet. Looks like everybody's enjoying it, which is absolutely fascinating. So there we go. Good. Okay. So also with Facebook, we have the live interactive map. This one's interesting. Check this out. So Facebook has this live interactive map of who's going live in the world. So somebody could go, oh, I like Texas. Let's see what's happening here in Texas. There's one person chatting with themselves, or over here we could find out what's going on. And what's funny is over here, we've got 6 viewers at the Valley Art Association. We've got, Sarah here. We've got Rosalanda. I'm not quite sure why mine isn't showing up yet, but that's sort of the nature of the beast. But we've got Facebook promoting live video. And obviously, the bigger the thing, the more important it is. So, 183 viewers watching this. This looks fairly important. I'm not sure what it is, but we've got Facebook showing us off. And then, of course, one of the dirty little secrets about Facebook, you can buy Facebook views. You can go to ads. When you go over to Facebook, we'll go here. And actually, I don't want to show that because it's going to show some of my personal stuff. You can hear hail in the background. It's hailing in the background. Not sure if my microphone's picking that up. You can buy views. And if you buy targeted views and if you buy intelligently, you can buy views for your content. Hopefully people that will continue to hang out with you and do things with you, such as maybe possibly, signing up for a newsletter or a book at howtostreamvideo.live. All right, so that's what Facebook is doing. So, me, greater impact. That's where the people are. You've got to take your content to where the people are. Now, one of the reasons why I've loved podcasting so much is that you can reach people with podcasting wherever they happen to be, which is the ultimate reaching people where they are. If you think about it, I get people via my podcast in their car. I get people at the gym. I get people in the plane. I get people all these places. This is one of the reasons why podcasting is so key. But what's interesting is the smartphone. This is where they are, and many of them have unlimited data now, or getting so much data it doesn't even matter. I thought this was really funny. The podcast report, back in episode 2 of the podcast report, and by the way, we are on episode, what are we on episode now? Like 90 something? And I do one of these every single week. We just did episode 91 of the podcast report. So, over, nearly 2 years ago, I said this was coming. Because, and 2 years ago, I had unlimited bandwidth, and unlimited bandwidth is coming more and more. But what's happening now is the people are here on their phone, and they're checking in to Facebook more than any place else, and they are checking into Facebook multiple times. So definitely being inside of Facebook is key. The cell phone, the production. A lot of people are, take the phone, grab it, and start broadcasting live to the world. Hello, it's me. I'm broadcasting live to the world. A lot of us are consuming on the phone. This thing is responsible for a tremendous amount of stuff on both sides, and it's becoming free for all. We're going to see unlimited bandwidth for everyone soon. If you don't have unlimited bandwidth, personally, I think it's a really, really bad strategy. Get yourself over to T-Mobile, get yourself unlimited bandwidth, and make your life a little bit easier. Understand where the world's coming from, understand the future of all this stuff. But the role of the cell phone is huge. So let's chat the major players. There are 4 major players. I got them all lined up for you here. Meerkat. Meerkat was the first one. Meerkat was, and still is exciting, and I'm sure they're great guys. Meerkat, kind of the imagery of just popping up and going there. Apps for iPhone, apps for Android. They actually were the first ones to integrate with the GoPro camera. That's why I bought my GoPro camera, was to play with that. Didn't work that well, but that's a whole other story. And the fact of the matter is, Meerkat came up, made it popular, made it exciting, got a lot of people nervous, and brought out a lot of copycats. What happened next was Periscope. Periscope was a copycat. At times, they weren't as good as Meerkat by any means. But what Periscope did that was brilliant and was really, really, really a good idea was Periscope got bought by Twitter. And then we started to see integration with Twitter, which Periscope had done kind of behind the scenes. Periscope could do on purpose because Periscope was there and owned by Twitter. So you started to see streams inside of Twitter. You started to see updates in Twitter. That got really, really interesting. Then came these guys, and we pointed them a little bit. Blab is an organization where, and we'll pick one here. Let's go back to, looks like Stelzner's still online. We'll go back to Stelzner here. So what's interesting about Stelzner is, and Stelzner's a good friend, great guy. Okay, looks like this is a replay. You click the play button, and what's interesting here is with Blab, you can bring in multiple people, and you can bring up to 4. And you can bring up 4 from, they integrated the desktop nicely. The video's not that bad that they project. If you don't really have a good camera for it, it's not that good. But you can bring in 4 people, and you can have, essentially a Blab fest, if you will. And what's exciting about, the concept of Blab is the interactivity, the interviewing, these types of things, very, very powerful. Blab introduced as well private Blabs, which becomes interesting from training. And as I start to do more with the mastermind that we're going to be doing for this, we'll probably in many ways be using Blab live training. But here's the deal, and this is key. Meerkat, my mom doesn't know what Meerkat is. Periscope, my mom doesn't know what Periscope is. Blab, my mom doesn't know what Blab is. Neither does your mom, unless your mom's really cool. By the way, my mom's really cool, but that's a whole other story. Once we get to the mainstream, this is where it gets interesting. Now, I am using a product called Wirecast to do this, and Wirecast is performing quite wonderfully, and it's working both across Facebook. It's going quite well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look at the health of YouTube, and it looks like the YouTube looks like we're having some interesting experiences. Elizabeth, let me know here. I know you're watching YouTube. If there's anything to watch, let me know if anything has gone bad on YouTube. I'd really appreciate that, Elizabeth. We'll be testing that later. But Wirecast is what's letting me go pro. It's what lets me do the green screen video. I mean, what I've got here is, this is me up against a green screen, and I wish I could show you what it really looks like, but I'm not going to mess with that when it's off. And then I could do screen broadcast, and then I could do my overlay here, or I could move the size of my head, or I could add, text and that kind of thing. I'm using Livestream. Been a big fan of Livestream, and I was doing a lot of my training to YouTube via Livestream. But what happened was Livestream and this Telestream product made it possible to go to Facebook as well. They just added that, and that's the secret to what I've been doing here. Is I've just been using Facebook to do my transport as well. There is a product. It's never good when you go live. Let's see. Is this? Here we go. Nope. Never go live. There it is. This product, extremely exciting. Mevo, the live event camera. This came from the Livestream guys. Livestream was one of the players. Livestream has always tried to kind of hijack the conversation by making incredibly cool tech, but that only works on their network. I pre-ordered one of these things when they first came out because my goal was to actually make some video with it and then just live stream that over to Facebook. But watch this. Okay. We'll watch a little bit of the video here. What's interesting, are they going to show this? Okay. You can see what's going on here. And let's see if they show this. Basically, okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to keep playing this video. You can see that tiny little camera, okay? But watch this, okay? What's really, really cool here is it's the iPhone that controls it, the multiple shots here. So now you got an iPhone and you can pick all those shots, and then you can do what's essentially a multi-camera shoot, which is very, very, very exciting, okay? And with that, and it's about a $300 product, you go live to, they had live stream, but you go live, the big announcement was Facebook as well. So you can see the numbers are starting to stack up on Facebook. Facebook's got this going on. Facebook's got the Wirecast integration going on. Facebook has the numbers going on. Facebook has the streaming going on. At some point, Facebook starts to become a really, 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 really intelligent choice. So those are the players: Meerkat, Periscope, Blab, and Facebook Live. All right, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. I can see that we've got one from Elizabeth here. I want to take a look. Elizabeth said Facebook video or Facebook Live. I'll be sharing that with you in a second, Elizabeth. She says Wirecast, some tech issues with Joel.com using Wirecast and Facebook video all at once. Yes, people have had some problems. I haven't. So far, this has gone well. I find with video, programs that, how do I say this politely? I love Joel dearly. Joel's a dear friend of mine. What happens is people take computer and they put software after software after software after software, and it just gets a little sludgy. And I found that if you have a computer that is sludgy, and then you try to go live to internet video with it, you can have problems. Right now, the only problem that I know of might be my internet connection. I might be doing too much of that. That might be the only problem I have here on the multicasting. And right now, Wirecast is working quite nicely for me, and I don't want to speak poorly of it. Looks like we've got no questions here inside of the live Facebook stream, which is fascinating. And let me make sure here. Yep, we got that. No questions inside of that, so I'm going to go back to the content. Let's definitely do that. All right. So the major players: Meerkat, Periscope, Blab, and Facebook Live. To be honest, YouTube Live, I've wanted to be a contender. I mean, we are on YouTube Live doing this. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to bring this over to here. Look at that. And now you can see, here I am broadcasting on YouTube Live as well simultaneously. And you can see there's Elizabeth, who I've been interacting with. And so I've always thought YouTube Live was fantastic because people know what YouTube is, and people are comfortable with YouTube. People feel safe with YouTube. The YouTube book, I think, outsells my podcast book, if I'm not mistaken. So and YouTube's integrated with the television sets, and YouTube's integrated with the media players, and YouTube does all these things. So in many ways, I wish they were a live player, but the fact of the matter is they're not. And this is important. And we got to deal with that fact. So the big players: Meerkat, Periscope, Lab, and Facebook Live. So the two big points for change. I think this is really important. And this is where I'm going at the beginning part of the books, okay? Number one, live video has been around forever for the internet. I actually had a guy do some research for me, and the first regarded, understood live video broadcast actually comes from 94, not 2004. But 94. Now, the video, the concept and how good the video was very lacking. It was about 1 frame per second. But the first video happened in 1994. So we've been streaming internet video now for over 20 years. This is important. There have been these things that have popped up, these Meerkats, these Periscopes, and these Blabs, but they have not penetrated into the normal arena of people. Geeks and nerds, of which I proudly identify myself. We love these things, but that's not where the mainstream is going. I think perhaps the best, most exciting example of one of these things kind of going mainstream is on the new Apple TV. There's a Periscope app where you can watch, Periscope or Scopes. But let's be honest, the attraction of that has gone down a lot recently. But they just hadn't hit mainstream. And here are the two things that hit mainstream that were really important. A couple of years ago, the big thing was Google Hangouts. When Google tried to go social with Google Plus, they needed a killer app, so they did Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts was basically their video product, their video platform, if you will, and it was fantastic. Technically, it all worked from a laptop. You could use a webcam. It was amazing what it did. I know that the Meerkats and the Blabs of this world got their design from inside of Google Hangouts. But then one day, Google announces you can broadcast your Hangouts on air over to YouTube. Now, what was interesting was the engine that it used is different than the YouTube Live engine, which is a whole nother thing. But this idea now that, say, I and Elizabeth, who's on YouTube, we're technical, we know what's going on, we could go to Hangouts, we could do all that nerdy stuff, but we could send people to YouTube, which was safe. That was the first major thing in getting into the world with Live. The second major thing into the world with Live is this Facebook Live thing. I mean, 1.6 billion people on Facebook visiting multiple times a day, and I can stream video to them. Many of you watching this live right now, many of you watching the recording of this inside of Facebook are here because that came up in the stream. You know, I just got back. I should have had some pictures. I just got back from this trip to the Sultanate of Oman, the country of Oman. 1 hour flight south of Dubai, for those of you who not sure where Oman is. And great country, great people, oh, great food. But the fact of the matter was, them, there, where do I go? Facebook. Americans, them, there, where do I go? Facebook. I've got a dear missionary friend right now who's in a foreign country, and the platform there is Facebook. Facebook has reached the entire world, and it's crazy. And basically, if you're connected, you're on Facebook. My friend Mike Koenigs, Mike tells the story of being in an African village where, no power, and a little kid tugging at his pant leg saying, can I face you on, can I follow you on Facebook? I mean, it's crazy. So the fact that we put video there and that it shows up in the stream and then you can watch it on the devices, this is the second big one. This is the second wave, and this is really, really, really important. So before I go into the strategies, the next thing I want to chat about is how to look professional. Now, the thing is, I could have taken this and I could have plugged, the lightning cord into my phone. I could have taken my unlimited bandwidth from T-Mobile, which honestly treats me better a lot of times than my unlimited bandwidth from Comcast. And I could have taken this bad boy and I could have done this entire thing from my phone. And I could have gone, oh, look at my mind map, and, oh, look at this, and that kind of stuff. I could have done that. And that's what the majority of people are doing. The professionalism that live video deserves is going to become necessary, in my opinion, very, very, very soon. The shaky cam movement kind of thing is not going to be enough. It's exciting right now for people who are excited about the excitement of the tech, but it's going to be the type of thing that people watch because it becomes a pro show. I think the professionalism matters. And I think there are two forms of professionalism that we have to deal with. Obviously, the camera and the sound is number one. At least get a good light, at least set things up for the best possible chance of success. And there are portable lighting rigs you can do. There are portable phone tripods that you can use. There are lapel microphones that you can set up. There are all sorts of options that you can play with. At the very least, do that. But the other thing that's really, really key is the distractions. I am poking in a little while to see what's going on, but right now somebody could be swearing me out inside of Facebook and I wouldn't know, because my responsibility is to you. And I've shared this on previous episodes of the podcast report, but the fact of the matter is, so many people, ask me anything, I'll answer questions. I don't care if you answer questions. Teach me something I don't know. Show me something that I can be better about and I can do better with. And this shaky camera answer questions thing is just going to go away. The distractions, if you broadcast live, consider not getting your interactions, at least for the entirety of it. At the very least, and this is what I'm doing here, and this is part of why I have it as an example, tell people you're going to go live to the comments and you're going to get distracted. So like example here, I'm going to go live to the comments. Let's see if there are any comments in Facebook. We've got Elizabeth chatting up a storm with me inside of YouTube, and God bless her, but right now it looks like Facebook, there are no comments, and largely it's because, I'd love to think it's because of my brilliance here inside of Facebook, but the fact of the matter is there are no comments inside of Facebook, honestly, because I've been asked for them, because I've not been interacting with the audience and doing that type of thing. Now, some smart aleck listener is going to, start making comments now, but be careful about the distractions. And the options to look professional, software, we will hit a couple of these in apps and tools. There is software that lets you do more than the shaky camera. And even if you can't afford Wirecast, I've got a free option I'll chat with you in a second. I've actually got a couple of free options that I'll chat with you in a second. Get software, get decent lighting. This lighting kit or, for lack of a better term that I have here is, and yes, I should have powder and I should do a bunch of things here, but the lighting kit that's examining all this is about $150, and it's all LED. You can do it. It's not that complicated. Big thing is to keep the camera still. This is the same camera I've been broadcasting from on YouTube now for about 3 or 4 years. But you could get one of those tripods for your phone and keep the camera still. And camera still is not the selfie stick kind of thing. Camera still is the camera rested somewhere. Definitely think about that. All right, so the secret. What do? How do you combine all these things? How do you answer Elizabeth's question of, Facebook Live versus Facebook video, or YouTube versus Facebook, or podcasting? Is podcasting dead? This kind of thing. What do we do with this? Here's what we do. You repurpose content. Okay, you go live. The new media content creation model has not changed in the slightest. You go live to an audience because you can, because there are some who love it and interact with you that way. Looking at my comments from Elizabeth right now, and she has got, oh gosh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different posts that she's made. God bless her. I love her dearly. She enjoys it, and she's here live, and she's interacting. And I'll tell you, she's interacting on YouTube because she signed up for this, and I sent everybody who signed up YouTube because I wanted to get a bit of an audience there to kind of test that out. But that's why she's there. Some people love live, but remember, the numbers on live are not that exciting. You're not going to reach a ton of people live. Remember back here, looking at just a little bit earlier today. Again, remember these numbers. Okay, I only caught 4 people live, and that was peak, and maybe there were a couple more, maybe a couple dropped off at 1, maybe I reached 10, but the fact of the matter is I reached a percentage of my viewers just by going live. Live is not the numbers that's going to win. And by the way, I have, and this is one of the reasons why I couldn't go on Facebook to my homepage. We do management for a lot of big name people. I know people with, and I have the stats for people with 6-figure plus Facebook followers. And the stats that we're getting is about point percent of your audience is going to catch you live. You've got to repurpose it. Okay. If you repurpose, you got a couple things. The question that Elizabeth asked, Facebook video versus Facebook Live. Here's the great thing. When this video is over, and most of you watching this right now are watching when this video is over, you've got access to it. And I don't have to do anything. When this thing is over at Facebook, you're going to be able to watch it. When this thing is over at YouTube, you're going to be able to watch it. When this thing is over, you're going to be able to watch it. And that's what you do. You do both. Now, there is certainly a game to play, and I chat about this in the in the YouTube book. And boy, I haven't done the pitch for the live book yet here, so might as well put that up. At the very least, sign up here. Consider pre-ordering the book if you'd like. But sometimes you want to do YouTube for the numbers and the game, but man, the YouTube audience is getting smaller and smaller, and the Facebook audience is getting bigger and bigger. And right now, I'm not really ready to say that we should dump it all, but Facebook is really important. And the great thing, Elizabeth and everybody else, is we can take this and we can repurpose it. Now, we can repurpose it as Facebook, obviously, when we go to Facebook Live. We can repurpose it as YouTube when we go to YouTube Live. If for some reason you were to do Periscope or Meerkat or Blab, you can download those videos to repurpose. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, Blab gives you the ability to, when you're done, publish your thing over to YouTube. So you definitely want to do the replay. You definitely want to do the repurposing. Definitely consider podcasting. Warms the cockles of my heart. My 13-year-old yesterday, driving her to swim practice, I think it was. I can't remember where I was driving her to. She's, Dad, podcasting's getting pretty popular. I'm glad you're part of that. Well, thank you, Paige. I really appreciate that. And letting people consume anytime, any place, anywhere. There are people who still do not have unlimited data, who get worried about data and these types of things. But the great thing is, take your content, put it on YouTube. It's free. Put it on Facebook. It's free. Put it up for a podcast. It's nearly free. Almost free when you come down to it. When you put it at all these other places, when you do that, you're in a great place. Go anywhere you can, anywhere that's past that. Apps and tools. So the big tools that I'm using right now, number one, I mentioned it, is Wirecast. Wirecast is my tool of choice. It's worth the cash. Elizabeth mentions that he was on a Mac Air. Yes, a Mac Air can handle it. I've tried to handle it on a Mac Air. You need a better device to handle it. I've actually heard that Wirecast handles better on Windows devices than it does Mac devices. I don't know if that's reason enough to get a Windows device personally, but where their Wirecast, I'm very, very happy with, especially with this new upgrade and some of the new capacities for it. There's a new app called Live Air Solo. I'm going to put that there. From a company called Teradek. Teradek has great solutions for going live on the internet, these decks, if you will. And what's interesting is they launched this Live Air Solo app, which just a little while ago would let you go live to YouTube very well, very, very elegantly, very nicely with overlays. As a matter of fact, I did a video on it. If you're watching this recently, you can go to the Facebook page and you can see, this one right here. I did this one from my iPad here in the office, and and here's the interesting thing. We take a look at the stats. I reached 9 peak, and I went considerably long on that one, but I did get 124 unique viewers, and that was interesting. I did this entire thing on the Teradek product, and what's interesting is, let's see here if I can get to it easily. I could do the overlays. So I was able to do overlays for this, and a number of you caught this show and are on this live as a result of the overlay that I did with Live Air Solo. So that's a very, very powerful product. And right now, I don't know what their plans for doing a Android or Windows version of that type of thing. You're going to have to follow up there, but that's there. The other interesting one is this. A lot of people have been playing with this, OBS, the Open Broadcaster Software. This is a platform for Windows and Mac to go live to the internet. I've seen some people use this with some interesting results. I've heard it's quite powerful. I will probably investigate it at some point, but it's not necessary for me. It does work on Windows. It does work on Mac. It even works on Linux. That gets interesting, a Linux box. I heard from, who was it? Daniel J. Lewis over at the Audacity podcast. He said he was playing with some hardware acceleration stuff and it worked quite nicely. I've seen Cliff Ravenscraft use it. I always get nervous with free software. I love free software and I love a deal as much as the next guy. And my iPhone app is filled with the deal software and that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, when I'm going to my audience, I want something that I know is going to work, and I want something that I can feel good about using. So I'm not there yet, but I wanted to share that with you. The .live domain name. So here's what's interesting. So I, am telling you go to howtostreamvideo.live. I have, and if you've been following me at all in the past, I have been a huge proponent for .com or go home. And today, if you were to ask me, which is it, .com and go home or .live, I would still say to this point .com. However, .live is beginning to make sense. Of all the external domain names, this one makes sense. And here's why it makes sense. And this is really, really important. Remember this list? Remember over here? Meerkat, Periscope, Blab, Wirecast, which is Facebook, which is YouTube. You never know where you're going to be. And you might even be on different ones. And you might even decide that you're in the world where you're playing all these different places. Well, here's the deal. Don't market Meerkat. Don't market Blab. Don't market Periscope. Don't even market Facebook. Market yourself. Right now, if you were to go to paulcolligan.live, check out where it goes. Right now, it goes to, I didn't change that. That's funny. I think Colligan.live. I grabbed both of these. I grabbed a couple of these. If you go to Colligan.live, look at that. It redirects to Facebook, where we're currently having, this live presentation where 239 people have been reached. Live, oops, let's go back to it. That's right there. Live is an interesting way to brand yourself because this will change. And I'm not even necessarily willing to say that Facebook wins the internet. I'm just willing to say that Facebook wins this year. And what's interesting, if you begin to broadcast yourself, Elizabeth, if you became Harrington.live, doesn't matter where you're at. Anybody else watching this, Elizabeth's just the one that I'm interacting with the most. .live becomes really, really, really interesting for everyone. The book, I'm doing the book here at howtostreamvideo.live because I think that makes sense from a branding standpoint. Who knows, maybe I'll brand, maybe I'll market with the .live guys. I did meet them, and that's interesting, and they've got some interesting plays, but this might be something you want to do and something you want to think about, and just something I definitely wanted to bring up on today's presentation. So there we go. What's next? What's next is howtostreamvideo.live. I'm going to do more of these webcasts. I'm going to share what I've learned from past webcasts. I'm going to share chapters from the book, and we're going to share a lot of stuff, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to that. So this is the official end of the content part of the presentation. I'm thrilled with how it went. I'm going to answer a couple more of Elizabeth's. If somebody wants to comment on any of the Facebook ones, we will take a look at there. Looks like we're having some fun ones here. Looks like people are commenting. So Elizabeth says, hey, Paul, sorry to be so chatty. You're not chatty, but I'm in this medium full on right now, and I geek out sort of finding the Mevo camera. How easy to use? The Mevo camera, I don't know at this point. I'll tell you this. Everything I've heard, and I've spoken with people who have used it, fantastically easy to use. If you go over to the website and take a look at, I'll tell you, I ordered one the first. I think I ordered this thing like 30 minutes after the announcement was made. So trust me, as soon as I get it, you'll be hearing about it, and you can make the choice there. The back order is there. Remember, when I ordered it, I didn't know it was be going to Facebook Live. I ordered it because I wasn't going to do live stream. I was just going to take that switching part. I think even if it's difficult, and I don't think it's going to be difficult, but even if it's difficult, it's a great indicator of what's coming. And Elizabeth, you said you are all into this. I would get ready with something like this. I mean, think about this little camera. And in theory, I could take that little camera, I could take this phone, I could take my unlimited bandwidth, and I can broadcast a multi-camera shoot to Facebook whenever I want to. And at the very least, I could take that Facebook down, and I could put that up at YouTube if I wanted to. So I don't know how hard to use. It's not out yet. It looks pretty simple. Look at the videos, read the reviews. It's pretty exciting. Thanks for asking that question. Haha. Harrington.live or ElizabethHarrington.live. The fewer things they have to type in .live, the better. The fewer things they have to type in .com, the better. Don't have to jump in, but I think it's getting interesting. There we go. All right, I'm going to switch off of YouTube, and I'm going to go to the Facebook questions because there are a couple of them, and we're going to go from there. Let's see. Gideon says, great to see you leading the pack again. Thank you, Gideon. Gideon actually, I think Gideon was the first one to set me up with live air solo. I think Gideon was the first one. Let me know, Gideon. I think you were it. At the time, it was only YouTube Live. The Facebook update was actually, I think, just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And so that was tremendous. Back to the movie camera, Elizabeth. Prediction. I think the movie camera is going to support YouTube Live before it comes out. It's only based on where the industry is going, and that's based on the email that everybody got who ordered one that was told to wait. They've announced new partnerships coming soon. Once they've launched with Facebook, the biggest, there's no reason for them not to integrate with other people. They're taking additional time to delay. I was hoping this week at Google I/O we'd be seeing the announcement. I don't know. But man, the price is right. It's really at a good place. How do you do that for Facebook Live with Air Solo? With Air Solo, it's basically one of the broadcast options. The Facebook option is the YouTube option was there. The new option is to broadcast to Facebook, and that's it. That's all there is. Um, let's see. Gideon says, "Great run, gotta go." I looked like there was another question. Let me hit refresh here, and I thought there was another one, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it got deleted, or maybe no. I think we're good to go. So up. Gilbert says thanks, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much, Gideon, for watching. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I realize again, it's funny the amount of people watching this, and this is key. And I really want to stress this. Right now I've got 7 viewers. It's not that exciting. Now 265 people have been reached since over a course of about the hour. I'll give you full access to my stats. My peak live viewers is only 10. So I've only had 10 people hit this, at the most at any given time. If we click on this, you can see where it's been. Probably a lot of drop off and a lot of drop in. Maybe people know they'll come back to this. Unique viewers only 44. And if we take to the unique viewers of, again, that's funny. I got 4,444 unique viewers. So 1%. So 1% of my Facebook audience has watched this so far, or at least watched part of it. And for those of you who have, great, but it's going to be really, really powerful over time. So head out to howtostreamvideo.live, sign up. This will get you updated by email with all this stuff. I will send you this mind map, and I will keep you up to date. We're going to do more of these. I'm glad this worked. Gideon, your kind words about the green screen. You're one of the pros at this, so that was very cool to watch. For everybody else, I'm going to finish the broadcast, and we're going to go from there. But thank you. This has been very, very cool. Bye.